Welcome to Empower You Crown Up, where we believe in empowering minds to live empowered lives. Today, we have our special guest with us, Miss Warren, and we're just so excited to have her on. Before we introduce her, if you haven't started following Empower You Crown Up, make sure to go to all social media platforms and follow me. That is Empower, the letter U _ Crown Up. And without further ado, we are going to introduce our special guest, Miss Warren. Hi, how are you?
Hello there. Hi to everyone listening. I am delighted to be here. So thank you for allowing me to be in this space. You said to introduce yourself. So let's think personally. I like to start there because sometimes we think about what we do, but I get to be a mom. I have three young kids. I get to be a wife. I love learning and just growing. I love what life has to offer and teach me. So I'm always wanting to be in the moment and present. So that's kind of who I am in that way. What I get to do in life, the work that I get to do, I am a psychotherapist. So I've been in the field of psychology and personal development for 20 years. I have a private practice in the Atlanta area. And outside of the four walls of my practice, I expanded to become a life coach, a retreat leader, a speaker, an author, just so many wonderful things that I get to do. But I love supporting women specifically learn how to transform their lives.
Oh, this is awesome. We can definitely, I see the connection because I do
Mhm.
that as well. I'm more on the mental health side, but I mean, we're still in the same lane, crossing over.
Right, right,
You
right.
learn so much when you get into it, from the licensed social workers to licensed psychotherapists to licensed professional counselors. So there is so much. But being in the field of mental health and just working with women, I feel like you see things differently once you start to study psychology and you see people and you see how they act and you're like, oh, this goes to your childhood, or oh, I
Right,
see where this is coming from. So what has
right.
that journey been like for you being a psychotherapist as far as how you interact with people on a day-to-day basis?
Good question. What is it like for me? Um, I think it's so helpful. For me, the journey is my own journey, right? So while I get to help other people, I am growing on this journey. I'm evolving, and my story leads me or led me to a journey of self-development and self-discovery that I will honestly say, Brittany, I didn't know I was on. I didn't think I was on the journey. I thought I was going to be helping other people on the journey. But how it
Mm.
worked out and how God created it was I had to learn about myself and going through my own challenges. So, connected to my story, I was teased from second grade to sixth grade by different kids for different reasons. And as a result of that, it led me to having a lot of self-doubt, right? I didn't think I was good enough, pretty enough, talented enough, all of the not enoughs. And I didn't look like it on the outside, but on the inside, that was my journey. And so, what I get to do in the work that I get to do is support women to really see the truth of who they are outside of experiences and labels and self doubt and fear. Who is there? Who is that woman? And how can she show up in the world in her full power and her full potential and do the thing that she was called to do, whatever that is? So, that is kind of what the work looks like and how it looks and how my own journey led me to this space.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you an even better life coach because people want to know that you've been through some things. And a lot of times, I think we get so caught up in business, or it kind of goes to whatever we experienced growing up, where it's like you have to put on this mask. You have to, you can't show the broken pieces of yourself because then
Right.
people are going to be like, oh, really?
Right.
But the reality is people want to see that. They want to see that side of you and they're like, "Oh man, you're talking to me. Like
Right.
you're the one for me." And I
Right.
think that's beautiful, but we have to get to a point to where we know that we are healed and we're whole so we can help others. And I love that you shared that. 'Cause it's a whole process. Like when God tears us apart and rebuilds us,
Right.
it's a whole thing. I'm like, "Oh, Lord, why me?" But, hey, why not me is what they say to start saying, right? "Why not me, Lord?" So,
Right.
yeah, so tell us about your business and how you got into wearing so many hats, because we know motherhood, wifehood, those are already full-time hats. So
Right. 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 No, I for the business side of who I am, I actually knew I was going to go into private practice very early into my career as a professional student. And so that part I knew, right? But then there's this other journey that God always takes you on the journey. He gives you a little bit to keep you going, but he doesn't tell you the whole stuff so you'll trust him. And so I had to learn that I was on my own journey of evolving and changing. And in that, I got to hold space for other women to do the same. And so my practice showed me that there were women who had similar challenges. And I knew I needed to create a space outside of the four walls to support women that didn't come into the four walls.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how it evolved, just ideas and thoughts. And I'm hoping that people listen to this and see that those ideas and thoughts are really pushing you towards whatever's next for you, because that's how my journey has been. Yeah.
Yes. And you just made me think while you were saying that how we have these thoughts, and a lot of times some people they don't act on them. But
Mhm.
those who do, and it's out of fear, a lot of times out of
Right.
fear, or you're looking at around, and you're like, okay, that's not the norm. But the reality of it is that someone has to take that leap of faith and just
Right.
knowing that God will, if He gave you that vision, that He will provide the provision, but you have to have faith.
Right.
And what I'm learning now on this journey of life is that no matter how many people be like, girl, that's crazy, don't do that. Oh, that means I need to be doing it.
Right. Right. Even your own thoughts that tell you that's crazy.
We, like you said, we are our worst critic, right? Because every
Right.
time, like you said, we look in the mirror and we see, oh man, my stomach's hanging or whatever.
Mhm.
And other
Right.
people like, oh, that looks cute, that looks good. And I'm like, dang, why are we so self-conscious of ourselves? But the more we do this journey of self-discovery, the more we're able to just be bold and be confident and just uplift each other, uplifting other women's crowns. I think that is so important. So I love how you create a safe space outside of the four walls because some women might say, I don't have insurance or I can't afford that.
Right.
Are they
Right.
going to judge me or put my business in the street?
Right, right. Or even not realize that the thing that's holding them back is severe enough, right? Like,
Right.
oh, it's not that bad. I'll usually get that. And then it's like, oh, I didn't even know I needed this, right? Like, this is exactly what I didn't know I needed. Because sometimes they just think that I can deal with it myself, right? I can
Mm,
manage this myself. So I love the idea of being able to expand that into wellness. So then it seems like it's a different package and people are receptive to getting
that's
support.
right. It's all about how
Mhm.
you package it.
Right, right, right.
And I love how you just said that because just you just made me think about in the mental health field, speaking with so many clients, and a lot of times women are talking to me about what happened, and they're like, "Wow, that sounds really crazy." With me saying it out loud, like I did this, and then this happened, and then all of this stuff happened, and you don't realize it when you're in the middle of the storm, and
Right,
that's why you need a circle of other people that you can lean on and just say, "Hey, give me some advice or keep it real with me." Like,
right, right, right. And we have our own limiting beliefs, right? Those things that feel very true and very factual. And we need someone else that says, wait a minute, have you ever considered, have you ever thought of, it is possible for you because they don't have those limiting beliefs or those
that's
experiences that we
right.
may have had. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. I love it. So, as a child, I know you say you endured a lot of bullying and just
Mhm.
being talked about. And I know that we have so much in common because I am not that person anymore. But
Mhm.
you still, as you heal, you still carry pieces of that with you, no matter how much you navigate life. And what would you say has really helped you to really see yourself? Like, I love doing this thing where it's like, now I see myself. So now I can walk with confidence, holding my crown up right. But what helps you to actually see yourself and not, navigate back to that person who is
Mhm.
constantly getting talked about or bullied, things of that nature?
Right, right. No, I think one of the things that was helpful for me, I did a lot of work with my inner parts, right? This inner part, my inner child, and I have learned to take care of her. Like that little Natalie who is there. She's still very much a part of me. Helping her to know she'll be taken care of, she'll be protected. And in the event, because as I grew in my business and I started to put myself more on out and on online on spaces that were essentially scary, she would become triggered, right? This idea of, well, what will they say about me? How will they treat me? What will they do? And I had to learn to take care of her and let her know, I'm going to make sure you're okay. And if that happens, this is how we'll handle it, so that she would feel free enough to be able to show up as well. So I loved learning that. And then I love being able to give that to other women to empower them to really connect to their parts as well.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. So I know you said that you're also an author, right? Yes. Tell us, what are your books? What you have, one book, two books? How many books you have?
Yes, yes. Currently, I have two.
Okay.
One is called The Experiences of a Whole Woman, and it really just talks about the experiences that we have as women, our challenges, our stories. And then the second one is called Perfect, Complete, and Lacking Nothing. And
Ooh.
it is actually based off of the story of Eve, one of the women that I think we've judged so much in how we see her. But in actuality, she struggled with the very same things we struggle with: our identity, our value,
Mm.
and our security. And so the book teaches you how to step into your identity, how to step into your value and know your security as a woman, so that you can let go and really just be the woman you were created to be. So both
I
of those
love
books
it.
are really speaking to those issues.
I love it. And where can people purchase those books at?
They are available on Amazon and on my website. Yeah.
Okay, love it. And what is your website?
Awaken to the number two power.com. So awaken to power.com.
Love it, love it. And the fact that you said that about Eve, I haven't heard anyone put their book like that. And I love that because each time we go and read the Bible, based on our life experiences, we get something new, right?
Right.
And I would definitely say when I went back through and I read about Eve and the whole conversation with
Mhm.
Satan and all of that, I
Mhm.
was just like, how many of us do that? We are just, because we don't know, wolves in sheep
Right.
clothing, who we talking to? We just telling everything because we might be having an emotional moment, and
Right.
then it gets thrown back in our face. I'm like, dang, I should not have said all that. But I thought I could trust them. And it's like, how many of us have been Eve or have felt that? We just needed a listening ear, or we thought we were bettering ourselves when in reality we were not, because God said
Right.
no.
Right, right. Absolutely. I think if we were really honest, we identify with her more than we think, which is a part of letting go of the judgments of her, right? Because when we judge her, we judge ourselves.
Yeah.
And the key to the story was she was seeking wisdom. If you really read what she was looking
Yeah.
for, but it wasn't something she needed. She
That's
didn't
right. Because
need
you already had
wisdom.
it.
Well, there was no evil. So
That's
there was
right.
only good.
That's
Evil,
right.
wisdom is needed to discern good from evil. There
True.
was no. And
Yeah.
she thought she needed something that was outside of herself when it actually was already
But
within
God
her.
already made sure she had everything she needed,
Right. It was
So
already within her. Yeah.
that's
But that's
right.
our story. Like, how many of us are searching for something outside of us when it's already within us? So,
That's so
yeah.
true. That's true. And you made me think about how, a lot of times we might be like, "Oh, girl, pray for me," which is okay in itself
Hmm.
as need be. But also knowing that we have the power to pray for ourselves too. And I
Right.
think that is amazing. Sometimes we forget that. Like we got it. God's already equipped us with everything we need. We just gotta
Right.
tap into
Right.
it.
Right. We understand that, right? Yeah. It's important to know that. And I wonder why, people don't realize that they have the power, right? What takes that away from them? Because we do. We've always had it. It's not something you gained or earned. It's always been who you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you made me think about, I was listening to, I'm not sure if you heard of him, Pastor Mike. He does a lot of different gospel songs too.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
one thing he talked about was when you start to see yourself the way that God sees you, you will no longer look for the validation of others. And I think that aids into that because a lot of times we're so looking for someone else to kind of pump us up or be like, oh, girl, you
Hmm.
got it, you got it. And that's good every now and then. But at the end of the day, we have to know that we are good enough or that we are worthy or that we can accomplish this.
Right. 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 That reminder is so helpful. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And so we're not searching for validation or
Right.
searching for love because that will get you in all kind of problems. That's another podcast for another time.
Right. But you know what I've learned? It feeds into our number one fear as humans. Our number one fear as humans is that we won't be loved.
Mhm.
Everything we do, everything we don't do is all attached to I won't be loved. So
Yeah.
if I don't feel validated, then I won't be loved. And so, yes, it's something that we all have to be reminded of.
Yes, day in and day out. Oh, I love it. So how can our audience connect with you, or what does that look
Mhm.
like if someone were to reach out to you and say, "Hey, I wanna work with Miss Warren?"
Yes, yes. I would love to stay connected with everyone. So I'm on all social media platforms as my name, Natalie Warren. My parents made my name unique, so it's Natolie. And then our website is awakentopower.com, where they can find information about services. I do retreats, wellness retreats, international and domestic. They can find all the information about what we offer.
Love it, love it, love it. Well, I definitely say we should definitely partner up because I do retreats too. So I
We
love
got to
them.
talk. Yes.
Yes, and I love it. And just the fact that women can walk away new from how
Right,
they came in, being
right,
transformed and knowing that you can do it. You're
right.
not alone. And I think so much, especially in our community, so many times people are feeling like, I gotta be strong, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta show up. Because we know, let's just talk about being a mother. It's
Mhm,
hard.
mhm.
It is, and it's not meant to be done alone.
Right,
And just having other women that you can lean on and say, "Oh, wow, like, okay, this is how you navigated through this challenge, or this is how you've experienced this." I think it's important to have that circle, a safe community for women, regardless
right,
of where they live. So,
right, right. Absolutely. And that's historically how it's always been. We've always had communities and tribes. So we need it. We need that.
yes. Well, as we end, what words of empowerment would you like to leave for our audience today?
Ooh, so many good things to say, but I'll say this. When a woman forgets who she is, she forfeits her purpose and her power.
Ooh, that's a
And
good
so
one.
I would offer is, and I say to women, remember who you are.
Okay.
Remember who you are. We don't have to forfeit our purpose and our power. Remember who you are.
Mm, I love that so much. And in remembering who you are, that will help you to really be happy and wake up with a purpose. Because I talk to so many
Mhm.
people and they're like, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know. I don't even want to get out of the bed.
Right.
But when you remember who you are
Mhm.
and you know
Right.
that you're not forfeiting that, then you
Right.
say, okay, I have drive. I have, regardless of what happens in my day, I know I can push through and push past it. So,
Right.
what? All right. So
Yes.
one more time, can you leave your website for our audience so they can make sure they can connect with you?
Thank you again for allowing me to do that. Awaken to the number two power.com.
Love it. So guys, make sure that you connect with Miss Natalie and grab her books. Just go all in. Self-care retreats, everything. And thank you so much, Natalie, for being a special guest on our show today.
Yes, thank you.